Yeah, it's not blocking your face.
Big Uncle Zach Maslany up in your ear hole. Sorry to come launching right at you, coming out straight out the gate. But Zach's Corner Podcast is back. Episode, I'm not sure what, but it is the second one that we're back since the new year. So I'm here, Never Again Studios. Big Uncle Mike Fauerbach.
Yeah.
What up? So, yeah, we're back, baby. Doing another one. Like I said, I want to try to I want to do it every week, but if we can get one every 2 weeks, that is good too. Every other week, that would be bi-weekly, I guess. I remember when I first found out that that was a thing in pay. I just thought you got paid every week, you know? Yeah, I get paid weekly. And then all of a sudden, I got a job, and I was like, yo, are we getting paid this weekend? They're like, nah, we get paid. And then one of the guys is like, nah, we get paid next weekend. You know? And I'm like, what? I was so distraught. I think I was like doing concrete or something at the time. And I was like, wait, what? Excuse me? We get paid every 2 weeks? I'm like, but I need to get paid now. So I didn't understand that, and but I do get it. It's just kind of smarter to just pay the person every other week or whatever. That's why we get paid now. Maybe, you know what, actually I have controls over that. I should change that where I just pay myself once a week or something. I don't know, right? I guess it doesn't even really matter at this point. But yeah, today is Wednesday. I love Wednesdays, one of my favorite days of the week, because usually I get to do something with my son in the morning, which I did this morning. We took little Lorenzo. My wife found a thing. It's called Purple Haze Alpaca Farm, and it's up in Bangor and or maybe West Bangor or something like that. And it is a pretty cool place. It's like a people's huge ass house, and they got a bunch of alpacas on the side, and then they shear the wool. I found this out. I know a lot about alpacas now. They shear the wool in May-ish, and then they have to send it off, and then it gets made into a bunch of stuff, and then they send it back around October. So if you're looking to buy alpaca socks or anything, made by alpaca, you want to try to do that around October. That's when the shipments come in, just so you know that. So that was pretty cool. He loves animals, so any type of animal thing. My sister got him a gift certificate to the Lehigh Valley Zoo. I want to take him down there, throw him in the wolf's den, all that type of stuff. So, little kids, they love animals, and he does, and it's just every time he's like learning how to say their names and stuff. So today was like completely different, taking him to an alpaca farm, so that was pretty dope. But I also like Wednesdays because Wednesdays is like a big night over at the dojo, and I'm finding from other instructors and owners and stuff that Wednesdays is always a big night at most places because it's the middle of the week. Some people are like hungover from the weekend, or they just, train too hard, or they competed, so they figure they take a day off or whatever, and they don't come in on a Monday. But then Wednesday comes around. Tuesday, they're like, who trains on Tuesdays? Freaking weirdos. Wednesday coming around, you haven't done anything all week. You're ready to rock and roll. You're coming in all guns blazing. There's no flow rolls. Everybody's going hard. People are doing a million rounds like they're never going to be. The people are doing rounds, we have to kick them off the mat like they're never going to be able to do rounds again. And then Thursday comes around, and then you're too hurt from Wednesday, so you don't train. And Friday, who's going to train Friday? I'm going out to the bar on Friday night. Then Saturday, I ain't getting up. So, that's how you only train one day a week, people. That's an easy way to do it. Or you could just come in and do a little bit every day, which would be the smart thing to do. But I know a lot of middle of the week heroes who just, and sometimes Wednesday's like that one day where you're like, I got to get in, But if I was you, I would train with Big Uncle Zach over here Mondays and Wednesdays advanced class. You got to have experience to be in that one. But 6 to 8 p.m., we're grinding in the trap over at Finishers HQ, 10th Planet Bethlehem. But those are the days that I teach, and I also teach kids, older kids / kids advanced class Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 o'clock. There's a kids class before that, so if you have a younger kid or someone smaller, you want to get them in. We got a lot of local wrestling guys starting to bring in their kids. We got some, actually last week, remember when we were talking about Launchpad, and I was like, or that was 2 weeks ago, are there any pilots who listen to this? And there is. Someone's like, I'm a pilot. No, one of my kid students, his dad, he's training too. So, but yeah, there's always somebody out there like, that's listening or that hears something. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. So I had a good conversation with him, not to blow up his spot and everything. And but it's cool, man. Like we're kind of in, like what I found out just talking to him and some of the other guys. A lot of the people are into the same stuff. And especially people who come in and train, they're into being healthy, learning self-defense. just doing something different, getting out there. And like this morning, like we thought this thing was going to be more of a farm, like, but we didn't get to see, there wasn't that much, and it's kind of off season. It's cold out, so nobody was there, and a lot of the alpacas weren't standing outside. But like I said to my wife, if you don't get out and do something or try something, nothing happens. You could sit in and do work and stuff, and believe me, there are plenty of days where I have to like lock in and just be like, you know what, I can't go anywhere or do anything today. Like I have to sit behind it. I'm sure you do this too. You're like, I have to sit behind this computer today and phone, unfortunately, and just message a million people back because I let it ride up sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, which isn't good, but it's hard to. At the end of the night, I'm like, I'll answer some messages, and I'm just like, nah. Good coffee. But then, so it's just tough, like the messages and everything. So some days I have to shut it down. But other days when we get an opportunity, like you just got to go out. You got to just put your shoes on, put on your coat. Yes, it's cold outside. Put your hat on, warm up your car if that's what you got to do. And then get your ass out there and do something. It doesn't, some people, maybe jiu-jitsu or martial arts isn't for you. But for sure, 100%, there's other shit out there that you can go and do, and you can put yourself out in a position or at least a situation where maybe you're not used to being in, and then all of a sudden something good happens. So you meet someone you didn't, think you were going to meet. You, let's see, what else could you do? You could find a business, opportunity, or find a job, or you could see someone you haven't seen in a while, and that opens up another avenue to something else. And but none of that kind of stuff happens if you just stay home. Sometimes, like I said, believe me, there are days where I'm just like, you know what, me and my son, my wife, we're not going out, we're just staying home, and we're just gonna clean up the house, or we're just gonna, get all of our ducks in a row for a week, or she's gonna do some cooking, and I gotta do some yard work or whatever. But a lot of days like this morning was like, hey, we don't know what to expect here, but she ended up having a good conversation with the woman, got some alpaca socks, get the kid out, get some vitamin D, just I know, Mike, you go hiking a lot,
Last couple of days, it's been nice enough to go.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I had a hoodie on, hood up. On Martin Luther King Day, it was crazy. The Jacobsburg was slammed.
People?
Yeah.
Oh, because everybody's off. Yeah,
Yep.
And that's great. That's great to hear that
Yeah.
people, it sucks that everybody's in your way, but it is also great to hear
ran
that
'em
people
over.
It's great to hear that
Bullshit
people are
kids
out.
in the woods.
Yeah, get out of the way. You're walking too slow.
Yeah, anytime the sun's out. Even today, like because it was my first time outside, I was like, oh, the sun's up, and I'm like, I got to go outside. It's so good for the mental.
Yeah, you got to just get out of the workplace, if you will, or wherever you're at, or even at the dojo. I mean, it's good to be there, but that's something, like we do, I take my days off too. And the days that I'm off, I try to do something different.
Yeah.
Still active, but getting out there, like, even if you're just going, even if it's something stupid, like, you don't have to go spend money, but you just go to a store. Like this morning, we spent $20 on socks or whatever, but we got out there. Excuse me. We had like a good conversation with the woman. We learned a little bit about alpacas, and yeah, I mean, who knows? I used to do this back in the day all the time, when I had nothing to do. Like, we have conversations where it's like, only when you start losing time, when you realize like, oh, I had a lot of time before, I could have done these things when I had the opportunity to do them. You didn't do them, and now all of a sudden you're doing them. Right? So think about that, if that makes sense. So like what I mean is, I know tons of people, especially jiu-jitsu, not to blow up people's spots, martial arts instructors, that you're off all day. Or if you just work for the dojo, or like you're trying to be just a jiu-jitsu athlete, right? This one's for you as well. But you're sitting around all day and then just waiting for training. Or maybe you go to training, and I doubt you're lifting every day or whatever, but you go to your workout, and even if you are, what does a workout take? An hour and a half at most, and then after that, like maybe you got to teach in the morning, or you train there too, so like that wipes out a good portion of your morning. But you probably, if you're just training, you don't have to be back till later, or if you're working, maybe you got the whole morning off, or maybe you have the afternoon off, so middle of the day, lunchtime, or whatever, and then you just sleep, or you do nothing. And again, sometimes you have to sleep. Sometimes, that's an opportunity for you to make a business move if that's what you got to do. What I used to do when, a lot of people that I know would just be sleeping or doing nothing, even though you had off all day and you're not doing shit. What I would do is I would wake up early in the morning, and then I would pick an area in the Lehigh Valley here, and I would be like, all right, I'm just going to go knock that area out. And I would be, riding in, Mike Ortiz sold me one of his old hoopties at like was a really old ass car. It worked great. It was an Infiniti, and I beat that piece up. Then I had then I had another car I was driving around. Didn't have a window for a while. Like the window was just like plastic. And then I had my brother had that red truck I was driving that was stick shift. Man, I had some beater cars when I was first running the dojo. Because for a while there, I didn't have a car. For like a year and a half when I lived there, I didn't have a car. I could only walk across the street to Friendly's or the Weiss or whatever that is over there. But now, or Jimmy John's, which I got sick of very quickly.
Yeah, Jimmy John's, I forgot.
But then when I got a car, I was like, all right, I can't just stay here all day. I'm losing my mind, just being at where I work and just having to be there all day and, just be on the internet. So then I started driving out. So first place I went, Southside Bethlehem. Just roll over there. When my buddy Taylor owned the Horns before that kind of had a falling out.
That place was so ahead of its time on food, on the way they served everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't see anything close to that unless you would go to a city. That guy, that was our favorite restaurant. It was the first time somebody brought city hipster food to the Lehigh Valley.
Yeah.
I argue that anytime someone brings up Horns, first to do it, they had
too,
all the equipment on the wall.
Oh, yeah. That was sick, dude.
They had to come out and they would explain that the sausage was so fresh that it was still pink, even though it was cooked.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, yo, that's like actual farm to table.
Yeah. They would, that was the first I saw that. And like, I had been to California before. So I had, I saw places like that were like, oh man, like, everything comes from a farm. It's all organic or whatever. And like, they even had the drip coffee. Remember the corner of the drip coffee? Then they had the big thing full of water.
They had the family style picnic tables.
Yep. And that's where I took my wife, I think, for our first date. But you can bring a bottle of wine.
And there was nothing down that way. It was perfect. It was the
Yeah.
fucking record shop, and that was it.
And that's Southside. So, that was the place, not downtown. The first place I went was Southside. And I went over there. I stopped in. I remember I was walking. I was handing out flyers. Had like a good couple conversations with people. Stopped in at Home Base. Bought some weed socks. Said what's up to the guy. Gave them some flyers. I just felt good about you're out there promoting your business. I want to make more money.
You can always be proactive.
You can't just sit there and wait for it to come in. Sometimes we literally got students like that.
Yeah,
like,
that's how I started my t-shirt business. Yeah. I drove to Amateur. I drove to Cheat or what was the Action Wheels?
Action Wheels,
I had to go in with t-shirts that my friends were buying, but I didn't know if anyone would like them. It was the original shit. I'm going to redrop them in March.
Nice.
And I would come in and I'd have one of each shirt, and I'd be like, "Would you like to buy?" Shirts, and then it was either, hey, we'll pay cash up front. That's the only reason I learned business was Penn Skate, Amateur Athlete, Action Wheels, and all these places. And I just remember calling my parents on the ride home, just being on such a fucking high because I had no clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I was also knew that I could be doing something.
Exactly. And you're going out there, and what's the worst could happen? You sell one shirt. And
Yeah.
like, all right. Well,
what do they say? No.
Yeah.
Everyone, and then it gave me more confidence.
Yeah.
You start giving out flyers, and hey, man, I'm going to check your school out. And then when they actually sign up, you're like, oh shit, that worked. Then you want to be more proactive on getting people to sign up and figuring shit out.
Or you could sit home and just hope that someone's going to walk through your door when they're probably not.
It ain't how it works.
And especially when the place is closed and you literally have the entire morning and night. Like now, my son, he gets up every morning, 6:30, 7 o'clock. I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I don't I can't go back to bed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no back to bed. So I just don't, because guys will do this classic one, then I'll go back to that, but that story. But guys will do this classic one. I got up and lifted at 5 a.m. this morning. And I'm like, oh, really? But then you took a nap today, so that doesn't count.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't count. I lifted at 5. Yeah, but then you don't have a real job, so you didn't do anything all day, and like your grandma or your parents watch your kids, so you're just chilling. You're like, yeah, I could get up and I'll lift at 4 just to show you up if I have a babysitter and I could take a nap, dude.
Yeah.
Once I'm up at 5 or 6 or the dogs bark, wake them up, whatever, I'm up, dude. It's all day. Many times I go, the first thing my eyes open, I go, I'm taking a nap at 12:30. When I put him down when I put Lorenzo for a nap, but then I don't because I'm like, you know what? I can't take a nap. I got too much shit going on here. I got to do this stuff. Someone has to do this stuff. Thankfully I got Andrew and Thor. They're crushing it. Jimmy at the school, Sid, the whole squad, everybody over at Finishers is working their asses off right now, man. Like, Ricky, Zach Makovsky, he's got a fight coming up and stuff. But yeah, I'll talk more about that anyways. But yeah, so I went over to Southside and I was like handing stuff out, taping things, talked to a couple people. I was single at the time, so I'm like, always, hey, what's up? Saying nice, saying stuff to women like, hey, you can come by and train, whatever. Stop by. And then I went in the Horns. And I saw Taylor and I played softball with him and everything, and then he gave me a free breakfast. So I was like, man, you eat a free breakfast, and I was like, no, I won't take anything. I'm like trying to give him a tip. He refuses. I'm like, good, because I don't have any money anyways. And I'm
no
like,
better
all right.
feeling.
Yeah, and then I'm like, all right, yo, thanks so much, man. And then end up leaving, and just feeling really good about like, oh, I got some stuff accomplished today. And it took me literally was an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's not like you're out all day slaving in the sun, doing stuff. Like I just think about when I think about when I used to have to get up and do construction, and there was no choice. You're up at 5:30 or I'd be up at 6:30 to get there by 7. And you're working all day, and there's no I do 4 hours just sitting there, working a thing, trying to, or whatever. Like you would just waste time. You'd have time wasted. I'm like, I could literally do the work that I need to do for my business in an hour and a half if I just stopped, messing around on my phone or whatever. Just go out and do it, and then something good will come of it, man. One time. Where did I go on this one? I went to downtown and I talked to a dude forever. He just came in and signed up. Guy straight up just came in and signed up, and I was like, oh wow, this is good. So now on Thursdays, we haven't done it in a while because winter and stuff. Like we I don't want the guys driving around like maniacs, but on Thursdays for a while we were just having Jimmy go out because he's like Andrew's understudy. Hopefully one day he takes over full control. Jimmy will be like the main manager. He's like what I did when I was at Tiger Schulman's. I was like the manager's assistant.
Yeah.
Who's getting trained, but eventually when another school opens up, or Andrew moves on or like retires or doesn't want to do shit, Jimmy takes over that position, or he goes and opens up, you know what I mean, and then he's running because he doesn't want to just be that manager the whole time forever. But he's doing a great job, man. He's killing it. He had we signed up, no BS, I think it was 22 people in the last 30 days.
That's nuts.
And then before that, the month before that was 15 in 30 days, right when we changed a bunch of stuff, like 2 months ago that we changed it a while ago, but we really started working together and implementing it all. And then now all of a sudden it's, everything is working together. And Andrew was gone for 2. He was in the Philippines for 2 weeks. So, we were doing it with him being over there, and I was doing the leads. Now he's back, so it helps out way more. He's back on his game. But I mean, dude, we're probably, with him back, we'll probably sign up 50 people, over the next 2 months. I'm hoping, that's really what I want to do. I want to blow this shit up and then keep giving opportunities to the other guys. But, what was I going to say? Yeah, we were having Jimmy just go out on Thursdays and just drop off flyers and talk to people. And then a couple times, like maybe a couple days later, I'd get like a text from someone else, be like, yo, you got the goons on the prowl. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then I'd look and there'd be a picture. Someone would text me and say like,
Press that power button over there. I forgot to turn it off.
what is it say?
It's the dehumidifier.
Oh, dehumidifier. Yeah, we got 2 dehumidifiers at the school going now because of the ceiling and the paint. Just we're in the middle of rolling because it gets so humid that the paint just falls off, and just people are rolling and just a thing of paint just hits them in the head. I'm like, oh, dude, we gotta.
Yeah, that thing runs all summer. I can't wait to
fix
get
that.
out of this swamp.
The swamp. But yeah, we were having Jimmy go out and just drop stuff off, and then people would see those flyers, take a picture, and then send it to me and be like, yo, you got the guys out there running game, the Finisher Street team. And it was at like colleges and stuff. We just drop them off at colleges. But I will say it was weird. The universities, man, they shut you down. Like if you're a business or something, and we're like trying to help out, give kids the opportunity for things to do, and they're just like,
Nah, send them to the bar.
yeah, they're like, nah.
They're like, unless they can use their college cards that their parents put money on, we would like all their money.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, come on. Some of those kids at Lehigh just have, Range Rovers parked that they don't even use.
I'm Lafayette. I think both schools are wealthy.
Yeah, they should be. Oh, yeah. The people, to go to Lehigh, you got to have some dough or get some scholarships and all types of stuff. Yeah, so this past weekend, so the past 2 weekends, I forget what happened the weekend before, but last weekend was, I don't even remember. What was 2 weekends ago? Nothing? I think I just actually was home for once.
Yeah.
I think so. Nothing happened. But
No, you
then-
didn't have anything before the event.
Yeah, I don't think so. And then this past weekend was the Finishers Sub Only 125-pound female Grand Prix. And the idea I got from Kasai, I'm head creative director at Finishers Sub Only Enterprises, which is a division of Finishers Enterprises, which is a division of Finishers Worldwide, the parent company. And they're owned by Pfizer. No, I'm just kidding. But
Needs to be put on
brought
a
to you by
t-shirt.
Pfizer. What was I going to say? The sub only. Yeah, the tournament was nuts. I know you said you saw the picture and you said it looked packed. That was the most packed it's been in a while. I mean, obviously, people were sick for a while. There was, that was all going down, and we didn't have that many matches. Like, we were kind of keeping the shows a little bit smaller, but we had 29 matches. Did it in just over 4 hours, which is a pretty solid clip.
Damn, that's fast for the shows.
Yeah, because, well, I mean, you don't want, it's kind of a little bit longer than I even want. Like, I kind of like knocking them out like 3.5, so
Yeah.
that way people aren't there the whole time. But this one, like, when we give away like more than $500, like, we'll probably make them a little bit shorter, so that way you kind of watch. But this one, I think we'll have like 30 matches anyways at the next Finishers Combat 4 going down February 26th, live at Finishers HQ only on Flow Grappling. Yeah, so this one, there was 29 matches, and we had the Women's Grand Prix. Alex Enriquez, IBGF World Champ, Pan Am Champ. She's a beast. She's our 135-pound champ, so she could do it all, sub only points, whatever. And then you got the silent assassin, Grace Gundrum, on the other side. Obviously, everyone knows Grace, your grappler's favorite grappler. And she hadn't competed in over a year because she's going to school at Lehigh, and she's busy with that. And, I'd hear rumblings that they're going to open up a smaller weight class at ADCC 2024, I guess that is. And I plan on being there anyway because Thor should be still in that piece. And I'm hopefully going to be there working and stuff too, like I did last time. But, Grace, hopefully she gets in that too. That would be awesome. But just in case, you don't want to just not compete for 2 years, 3 years, and then try to go compete at ADCC. That wouldn't be, in my opinion, that wouldn't be smart. So, I'm like, okay, let's throw her in this. It's 10 pounds heavier than what she normally competes at. So I think she weighed in under the weight limit anyways. And then Alex, she cuts down from like 135. So it's definitely weight discrepancy. But I mean, Grace rolls with bigger people all the time. So, I mean, she definitely looked bigger and, stronger than Grace. But I mean, this is what I want. I want her to feel what it's like, so she could figure out like, okay, well, if I'm not going to beat them like this, like she played a leg lock heavy game on some of the girls, and she got the purple belts that she faced, but going to be, in ADCC, it's going to be tough to get some of those leg locks, especially on the women. And man, you're going to have to, I mean, Grace is kind of smaller. I don't know if she possesses the strength to break someone's tibia, especially with the fit, because in the men's, when someone grabs a hold of some of those leg locks outside, not that many people tap to. Honey hole inside, they'll definitely tap to, but it's hard to get. But some of the leg locks, man, you got to break it or they're not going to tap. They're just not going to tap, in my opinion. That's what I've seen being there on the floor watching. And I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Even in, local tournaments, guys don't tap to shit and they let things go. So especially with the women, I mean, it's going to be tough, but, it's sub only. So, you could play that different game, and it's hard to be on top. Alex wrestled and stuff like that too. But, and Grace did a really good job of, wrestling up on Nicole Matthews. She swept her, I forget. And then she did like a double underpass, which is what I think would be a good opportunity to do to the girl that Grace lost to previously, Misa. Just go underneath, because it's too hard to go around. Sometimes you just go up, flip them over, take the back. She did that in one of her matches before. So, that was really good. Grace's arm bars are like, and the other thing was really like a bunch of people talked about was like how Grace never hurts you. You know how like it's good but bad at the same time, because like, when Thor will get people like, because he knows that some of the men won't tap, so you got to kind of crank it. Same thing with they give my boy Adult Slayer. Shout out to
that dude's crazy.
Yeah, shout out to the
He's fun.
Shigoli family, Big Pop over there, and Pat Shigoli, aka Goop Ice, aka the Adult Slayer, aka MF Goop. People give him a hard time online because they say that he cranks submissions and stuff. You know, he is only 16 years old. But, you know, one thing I've learned over the years, sometimes you got to crank submissions. And that sounds shitty, but sometimes people just won't tap. You know, like I've gotten people in arm bars before where I'm like, okay, I won. And then because I have a full blown arm bar and I went to tap them, you know, and they just, and I kind of like, you know, let off a little bit. And that's why you can't, that's one of the reasons why you can't do this. Like at a
Who'd
tournament.
that happen to? Vitor Belfort and John Jones.
He let off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of let off of it because he was like, shit, am I going to break this guy's arm? And then, you know,
If you
Vitor.
broke it, it probably would have been the end
That's
of the fight.
the end. Yeah. That should be the end. If you get injured.
I think
you
that
know,
was TRT Vitor too.
Yeah. I mean, only he knows whether he let off of it or not. But even then, he might not even know because it's the heat of the battle. And,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you crank, like, but the point of that is that's why you can't yell at, like, if you're in a tournament and you go for like a leg lock and the guy goes, and the guy's knee like pops, which has happened to me before. And the guy goes, ah, and then the guy lets go and then you keep going. Well, you can't do that. So like if you yell, it's a disqualification. Not many people know that. Like you're done.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you're done. So that's the reason why you have to actually crank some submissions on people, because if they're not going to tap, okay, then they're just going to eat the, like sometimes if you let off and they don't yell and they keep going, it keeps going. You know, it's on you to tap out. It's on you to know when you're in and the reason why I've never gotten my ACL blown or anything like that, because I've been leg locked by, and this is why I think I have one of the best leg lock defenses right now. You know, just rolling and, you know, whatever. Like when I go around, people always try to leg lock me, and I feel like my defense is pretty solid. Even the stuff that I might not be able to do, I'm watching, I'm feeling like, you know, really good about the defensive strategies when it comes to people just constantly trying to entangle your legs. Because I roll with good leg lock guys all the time. And I do still get tapped, obviously. But is because, you know when you're tapped. And this is why I never got seriously injured. Like, I've had my knee pop before, even. Because, you know, submission comes on fast. And the other guy, he wants to win. And if he goes just a little bit too light and you get out of it, then, dude, you had him. And you let him go, you know? And I've had guys where I've been on an inside heel hook or whatever. Like when I went against Joao Miao, he got, like, I was cranking on his and he was not tapping. And his leg is just like rubber. And then once he got his hands to like this on the inside heel hook, I gave it like a nanosecond. I couldn't slip my heel and I was like, tap. And then that was it. And then he just let go. I've even had guys that tap me that I tapped soon, like early. Some people would be like, he tapped early. Yeah, you would tap early too. If you knew, I know when I'm beat. I know I made a mistake. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble here. I can't get both of my legs. I'm stuck. You know, the one time how Frank got me at Kasai, and I went to get out, and then right when I went to get out, I couldn't get my other leg through, and he was already putting his hands together. And then if I let him get his hands together and made one move, he would have sunk into it, and then my knee would have exploded on the way around, and then I would have got tapped. So to me, I'm like, I know I'm beat. I'm not getting out of this. You know, you're just like, tap. You know, and then you got it. You know, and there have been other times, like, remember that one MMA fight I did where the guy got me in a full armbar? And I just let it go pretty, like, it was deep. Like, my arm looked like it was getting bent the other way. But I just, because of adrenaline or whatever, I didn't really feel it. But I didn't feel like it was going to break because I'm pretty flexible. And then I got out of it, and people couldn't believe it, you know. But if my arm would have broke, that's my fault. Maybe he didn't look like he was letting off of it, but maybe he subconsciously let off of it. But that's the game we're in. This is the fight game. We ain't playing tiddlywinks out here. You know what I mean? You're breaking limbs. You're throwing bodies. So it's up to you to tap, you know. So, you know, when they give him a hard time like that, it's like, you know, you really got to have it. And the whole point of that is that when Grace finishes those arm bars, she has such control that, like, they don't hurt. You don't get hurt. Like, you just know that you've gotten to as far as you can go to where she's got your arm straight and it's about to start to hurt. And you know, you're like, I can't move. Oh, that's checkmate. That's chess right there. That's checkmate. And you're just like, tap, you know? Like, she got the first two women, or that she got, and the third girl too. When she went against Nicole, like, that was, you know, she got those arm bars, and like Nicole was giving her a hard time and everything. But when she got those arm bars, it was like, you know, a slow pythonish cobra around your to get the finish, as opposed to like, ah! You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, completely different. And that's what, you know, people talked about Hickson. Like, his submissions, he didn't really, hurt people in training or anything ever like that. It was like such a controlled finish. Like that's how you, like when you're rolling, you can't be cranking shit like in class. Competition, complete. I want to make that, obviously I want to make that important. That it's competition and in class are completely different. It's completely different ball game. It's a whole nother ball game when you're out there, because people are trying to hurt you. So then if you don't like that, then I wouldn't compete. Now, I'm not saying it's good to hurt people in competition, because definitely don't do that. But, you're in a competition, especially when it's for money, 50 G's, and you're trying to make a living doing this.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what? You better be putting your big boy pants on, or don't be in this tournament, bro. Like you can't get mad when a fight breaks out at the fights. It's the fights. You know what I mean? And people are like, oh, you know how guys go on their high horse about this one, and I'm on the probably lower side of this. Most people probably disagree with me, but I say that a jiu-jitsu match is like a fight. People, that's not a fight. It depends on what your definition of a fight is. I mean, a fight to me, like I've been in some jiu-jitsu matches where I felt like I came out of a fight. You're getting your legs cranked on, you're getting your arms cranked on. Someone's doing this to your face and pushing in your head and snapping your neck and slamming you. Like some tournaments, like Fight to Win allow slams and shit. Like, it's not a fight. Dude, I've been in fights too, but it's like guys like, yeah, it's. So we're fighting over like nothing here. We're fighting over guys. This is all because jiu-jitsu guys like say it's in a fight, and MMA guys are like, don't say it's a fight. It's not a fight. It's like, guys, everybody else is sitting on the couch. You guys are out here actually physically. You know what I mean? Like you imagine like. Some people, like you look at them and they're so, they could never, if someone tackled them once or they hit the ground, like watch all these fight videos you see on Instagram, they hit the ground once, they're injured for the rest of their life, their shoulders blown out, everything. You're literally going in there and slamming one another for $0 and you're getting jacked up. I know tons of people have surgeries, broken bones, separated everything, like terrible necks and everything like that. I say a jiu-jitsu match, some of them are just like a fight, man. I know people are going to disagree with me on that one, and I got a lot of fights too. I've had kickboxing matches, boxing, I fought in Golden Gloves, MMA, I've won, knocked people out, gotten beat up real bad. Like I've been in some jiu-jitsu matches where I felt like I couldn't walk out of it. So you don't consider that like a fight? I'm like, I don't know, man, Guys say that all the time. You ever see dudes argue with that? That's like a martial arts community argument going on.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys hear a bunch of shit all day, every day.
Anyways, besides the fact, who cares?
Yeah.
What you call it. At least they're getting out there. Like competing is a hard thing. It's completely different than the room, man.
All
completely
nerves.
different. Nerves play a factor. Like, look at this. How many people were there in front of that thing was nuts, man.
Whenever I saw when we would do the burgers in the parking lot, like I would always see people outside because they would be coming to get air and they're shaking the nerves off.
Oh, yeah.
And like you could just tell there was so much affecting the mental of it, because I know the guys from the school, but then seeing the competitors come in where sometimes they would come up and laugh afterwards because they'd be like, yo, can I get that burger now? And it's like they're a totally different person.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, finally the edge is off, and it'll bother people for weeks leading up into it. And then if you go out there and take a crap, and then you're like, damn, you just want to, push yourself harder to the next one or whatever.
My position from seeing stuff, like the guys coming out and losing, because they usually go right outside, and then you see that, like, really, then you see, like, their friends coming over, like, hey, don't hold on to that. Yeah. Like, it's crazy being in the parking lot and the perspective I get, the amount of mental from win or lose that they go through.
Yeah, and you've been at, you see him coming out, but you've been at the one, remember the one, like, imagine, dude, remember the one where the guy got put to sleep?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Andrew
I filmed
Kochel?
it.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was the first time I've ever seen someone go out like that.
Yeah.
And it was wild. The whole place, like, erupted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nah, it's not a fight, though.
No, not at all. Didn't feel anything like Pit Fighter for Genesis.
Pussy. There's a million people
Yeah.
there. He's got his arm almost broken and everything like that. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I mean,
that
it's-
was such a wild.
if you're not going to call it a fight, it's the
Yeah.
closest goddamn thing to a fight.
That dude
fucking
was
possible.
jacked wearing the fucking USA tights.
Yeah, shout out to Rob Best.
Yeah.
We met him up in New York, upstate New York. We were at the Sam McCall's original thing, the Global Grappling League, and I remember seeing him up there. And I forget who, Andrew competed, a bunch of people competed. Eddie Bravo was there, and that was the one, Nicky Ryan versus Marvin Castell. That was the big match. That was like the main event. And I'm laughing because not at those guys, they're the men, but what I'm laughing at is that Rob Best, so his grandpa or his dad was like coaching him, and he was like old guy with a beard, kind of overweight, just with a cane, sitting on a chair, just like this.
Yeah.
And then he's out there rolling against this guy, and it's the same thing. This dude's putting him in all types of submissions. I can't remember who it was, but people putting him in all types of submissions. He's getting out of it somehow, not with any type of like technical escape, just by athleting out.
Strong.
I'm like, he's just going to athlete out of this, right? Like, the old joke too was like, oh yeah, you do a lot of, because people would rip on CrossFit guys and be like, oh, you do a lot of burpees. Think you could burpee out of this armbar? I'm like, well, that is the guy. He's the meme. He can totally just fucking rip out of it. And his grandpa or his dad, like I said, coach him, was like, get out of it. Go. Grab one on him. Get one on him. Grab his. Rip his. Don't do it. Come on, Robbie. Let's go. Get up. And that's how he was coaching him. I'm like, dude, I love this guy. So then he hit us up and he won the qualifier. We had a qualifier, right? And he won the qualifier to be in because I didn't want to put him in the main tournament. For some reason, I forget. Or maybe I already told too many people or whatever. And then he was like, I'm going to be, I want to be in the thing. So he won the qualifier and he's in it. And I remember he posted online. I wish I could go back and find this and then put that clip with the video or put that post. But he wrote online, I'm going to the finisher sub only tomorrow and I'm not tapping. And I was like, damn, that's bold, bro. Because if you get put in like a shoulder lock or something, and it's just like you have nowhere to move, and it's either that if you don't tap, your shoulder's broken. And he was in it. Coach O had him in a full triangle, Kimura, and he was just not. It was both Coach O's arms just gunning it this way, and him just being like, nah. And I'm like, his shoulder's going to break. His fucking shoulder's going to break.
It was so intense because it was like he wasn't going to tap. And then it was like, even from my perspective back then, the little jiu-jitsu I knew, I was like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
This dude's a lunatic.
And it's for like $2,500, but
Yeah.
like everybody's packed into the above part of a gym, like just sweating like crazy. Big J's commentating.
Where was it? Was that in Jersey?
Lyndhurst,
Yeah.
at the Subforce.
That was a cool school.
Yeah, that place is dope. Upstairs and
Yeah.
the downstairs warm-up area and stuff. And then he got out of it, and then when he went to OT, they started in Spiderweb, and he just went to get up and blast out, and Coach will put him in armbar because he had Andrew's back, and then he choked him out before it. Like, so Andrew was all over him the whole match, 10 minutes. They go to OT, and Rob Best goes on offense first, gets the back, freaking RN sees him. And I'm like, damn, he's going to win this match. And I put him with Andrew because Andrew is a good leg locker, but he's not like only a leg locker. I
Yeah.
put him with Nick Ronan. That guy's going to like explode his knee or something. I'm like, nah, keep them away because I'm making the brackets. I'm like, I want to see an exciting match. So then Andrew goes, all right, well, I only got like 30 seconds to tap him or a minute. He goes, I'll go armbar because that's what you got to do. If you're down ride time, like, and you can't make it up or you feel like you've already lost it, then bust out the armbar. That's why you got to have good armbars. So he went in there, and then right when he went to get out of the armbar, because I don't know if Andrew could have tapped him with the armbar. I don't think he would have tapped, knowing that if he tapped, he lost.
Yeah.
He would have just ate it for a minute and just had his arm fucked up or whatever. So he put him right to triangle. He put his leg through, boom, right to triangle, and then just pulled. And all of a sudden, we're like, oh my God, he's out.
Yeah.
He just laid over.
Yeah, because I think there was a moment where he was like out, and then JM looked down and was like, holy shit, and
He's
then
out,
realized
yeah.
and he was like, he's out, and then the whole place just goes, raw,
Dude, it
and
was
then
crazy,
Andrew's screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he woke up and he was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
He's like, all right, you got
He
me.
took
you
it
got
on
me.
the chin.
Hey, he didn't tap.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
did not tap. That guy was crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
We had we didn't this weekend, man. Like there were so many other matches too. Like I can't talk about all of them, but I mean, dude, there were some crazy matches. Like Chrissy Briggs and Gabby Maslanka, which her last name sounds like mine, kind of. So I'm sure she's probably like Ukrainian or something. But and she's younger. I think I have no idea how old she is, but and I haven't seen her around the scene that much. That was like her first finishers, and she really showed out. I mean, Chrissy is a beast, you know, and they were having a back and forth match where they were like taking the back and like the crowd was going nuts. So that was cool. And then, you know, obviously Goop Ice was there, had a great match with Steve, went to OT. I didn't even know who won. There were a ton of guys, and now we're starting to. What's crazy now about the finishers is we're getting so many inquiries. It's insane. Like there's over no bullshit 300 people like on our list. That's of people that I'm just adding to the list and like, hey, maybe we'll go to you, maybe we won't. I don't know. There's only 30 matches at the next one.
It's got to be wild for you from
60 guys.
Going to probably having to use primarily in-house guys and trying to find people that want to get on the show and finding schools that would want to put it on to now where it's like
there's so many more people. There's so
Yeah.
many more people. The original one is insane. You know, Gordon Ryan won the first one.
Yeah,
you know, and you
that's
had to,
cool.
Yeah, and like all the guys that were in it, a lot of them are coaches. Like shout out to Mike Davila. He won the 155. Him and Padilla were in the finals. Him and Padilla both have just turned 40. So like I'm right around the corner. But those guys are like Padilla says he wants to do 40 matches this year. I'm like, you're insane. I've never done 40 matches in a freaking year, but that's why you gotta love Padilla. So, but those guys, yeah, they're coaching guys now, and it's just really cool to see the progression of it all. And yeah, it's nuts, man. So like, you know, right now, like if you're a good black belt, and I know you and I've heard of you, and like, you know, you're crushing like the regular competition scene. Or if you're just a black belt that we haven't seen compete in a while that people like, and you're a fan favorite, we'll throw you on finishers. Everyone else on the undercard, from now almost on, you got to be like in the Finishers Open. Because the Finishers Open is not like the Good Fight or Naga or anything like that. Like there are some tough SOBs. You go in the Finishers Open, you don't know who you're going to have to fight. There's some people you could fight, like Alex Enriquez did the Finishers Open. Maxime Cote came down and did it. Kieran Kirchuk did the Finishers Open. You know what I mean? Like these are like really good guys. Like any new, you know, white or blue belt that's trying to get put on, like, and you're hitting me up like 185 blue belt. Like, man, that's tough. You know what I mean? Like it's my thing, so I'm going to put my friends on, and then the coaches of the guys who I know, like I'm probably going to try to add those guys in.
Yeah.
And even them, I can't. It's hard to, though. It's hard. You know, you got to be, and the only way, this is what I tell everybody who's like, how do I get on the finishers? I've been asking forever. You need to be undeniable on the scene. Like if you're just murdering people on the scene and you're like just sending me videos or whatever, and I'm like, all right, maybe this guy would be interesting, you know? And if you just lobby me all the time to be on it, I'll probably, you know, eventually put you on. But man, there's so many guys, man. There's so many guys. There's so many girls. It's nuts. Like the emails that I get, like once I put one of the biggest mistakes I ever made was putting the info box on the link tree. Cause now people will do it like once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Same people trying to get on. I respect the hustle. So I'll probably give it to them eventually, but there's a lot of people trying to get on, man. It's nuts. The next one is in February, and that's going to be the Combat 4. Plus, we got all those people love the titles and they love the rankings too.
I like that you. Well, I mean, I grew up '80s, so I know exactly what you're doing. But even the way the belts look and like,
yeah,
I was like, dude, because it was like, I think you did the one where it mimicked like the Intercontinental belt.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is so cool.
Yeah. And then like some people, if you win a whole bracket, like people are always like, when are you doing the next 85 bracket? I'm like, we're not though. I mean, we're just doing random brackets like maybe 4 times a year for cash prizes. The rest of them are title fights, and then you get paid if you win the title. If not, you got to work your way up the rankings, and people love that. They're like, let me get a ranked opponent and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now they want to, you know, it's something else to say like, hey, I'm ranked number 1 at finishers, and then like, you know, like a couple of our guys are doing the combat jiu-jitsu. Like I got like some of our guys that compete at our tournament all the time. I got them on the big show, on Eddie Bravo's show, and then hopefully some of our guys that compete all the time will go to eventually Who's Number 1, start getting matches there if they discover some guys through us. So and then all of our I mean, you look at, if you run down the champions, I mean, it's a young, talented group of people. I mean, you got Alex Wynn. It was just her birthday the other day from Standard. You got Max Hansen. He just won Sapaterio. DeAndre Corbray won our the 55 bracket, so we'll have to set that matchup. Kimoy Anderson and Sean Marco got a match coming up. They're killing it. MF Goop is the heavyweight champ. You know, all the guys that are killing it, man. They all of a sudden, Chaba Trinity Pun, she's one of the champions. Sophia Casella is one of the champions. And then now, like, you got people like Grace and some of these other people coming in, and they're going to start working their way up the rankings. And some people are really like, you know, like some of the younger, the I don't know how old they are, honestly, but some of the girls that are really competing, like Molly Zabrowski and Marissa Pacelli, like those girls, like I didn't even know who they were at first. You know, and then all of a sudden they showed up and just, they do every finisher's open too, almost, if they can. And they just try to win as many as possible. And then we keep ranking them and putting them on. And then I just hope it leads to other opportunities, you know. Some people are definitely fired up. They're like, yo, man, how come I'm not on the, you know, whatever. I'm like, don't worry about it, dude. It's all good. So let's see what else I want to talk about. But yeah, the Finishers Open is coming up March 26th, and you can register on SmoothComp. Just go on the link tree. If any of you guys need anything from me or any of the things you have questions and stuff, and it's something we're selling or pushing or something you can get or be a part of, just go on the link in my bio on my personal Instagram. Finishers and the 10 Planet Bethlehem one are the same, or you can go on the Finishers sub only Instagram, click the link in the bio, and then everything. You can apply to be on the Finishers. You can, you know, register for the Finishers Open. And the Finishers Open is how you get on. If you win that division, we'll know who you are. They'll be like, yo, a 13-year-old kid just won this or whatever. And, this guy just won like the blue belt division, then we get him a super fight. And, you know, we're really, it's for the people. So we're trying to do as much as we can. And, you know, we're trying to do as many events as we're doing, one a month, you know. So, I mean, your time will come eventually, you know, literally one a month. And I said that and people, oh yeah, right. You're not going to do one a month. Oh yeah, we will. So hopefully, Big Uncle Zach and the squad have been delivering. Thor and Andrew have been killing it, Thor pretty much runs the whole event the day of. Andrew's doing a lot of the matches, hitting people up. Laura, a huge help. She's already got a bunch of matches made up for the February one. Sid and them working on the rankings. It's like a whole team of people. Then you got our media team, obviously Ross, who will never take any money, so I got him a gift card. He'll find out eventually. And same with, down to everybody. Mark, running the time with Preet, who's doing the thing on Flow, and then you got Aiden's working the camera. He's professional at that now. You got the refs, Renee and Chris and Dev and Quinn and all those guys. You got Quentin just cooking up freaking reels and like sending pictures. It's so much and then Juliana, same thing. A couple weeks later, hers come out, and it's she gets just about every match. So like we pay for that. Like usually people, the old way is you would have to go online and pay for your own pictures, and that's how the photographer got paid. And I think that's bullshit. If you got the money in the budget, the tournament, the promoter should pay the photographer, but you got to figure out how to generate enough money to pay that shit.
Yeah.
Now the competitor has to do the match for free, which a lot of guys do, and then they've been doing it for us for years because we didn't have money to pay them. And then on top of that, you got to buy the photos of you. They're of me. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to buy that shit. If you want to get, now on Juliana's point, if you want to buy like shit to frame at your school and everything, well then sure, throw her a couple of bucks, obviously pay for whatever it is. But just to post something on the internet, like with her tag on it and shit like that, then those we paid for. So like, believe me, no one's doing really anything for free. People want to get paid. And I want to pay them or pay them somehow, even if they are doing it for free, we got to pay them somehow. So that way they want to do it. And then the event keeps going. The event keeps going. I see a lot that are not doing so hot. We're just very lucky in the situation we're in. So, so this summer too, man, we want to get you out there, bro. I want to freaking get, and you've done the burgers mad times, and I think we want to have like a summer bash, but this time we're just going to put a tent up. You know what I mean? Just have like a whole weekend event of things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that would be like, we did it before. Remember we had the open mat, and then we had but like we didn't really, like we want to have like food going all weekend. I want a dunk tank. I want like.
Yeah, you could totally set that up like that.
That's what we should do.
Because you have kind of that third parking lot. Is that your parking lot off to the left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well, right? I mean, the other one might annoy some people, but who cares? They'll be fine. And then now, dude, the other thing with the tournament is like we're branching out to help other tournaments. So like I'm really starting to do with all the business coaching stuff I've been doing. And I actually have a couple clients now, which is cool because I can actually like see what's working and help them. And I see like a couple of the guys already implemented stuff. So shout out to those guys. You know who you are. But now we're getting like, I have another tournament that's kind of under my wing. It's called the West Coast Grappling Series. So follow that on Instagram. And they're going to be running their first event in the hopes that eventually they're going to be the Finishers West Coast. So going to be the West Coast version. But I told those guys out there, they're doing a great job. They're killing it. They got they see the vision. They know what's up. They got a Sean working for them and everything. So they're doing it super professional. Just got to get a couple events under their wing and see how it goes. And then this shirt right here, Emperor of the Mats. Shout out to my boy Abdullah Salim. The Emperor of the Mat is a submission only tournament that does EBI rules that I helped out with the rules and just them getting started and everything. They've done it all themselves, but I just kind of help with the rules and stuff like that. And they're out of Kuwait, which is crazy. Yeah. So this time I did a little interview with him, and he was like, "Hey man, are you gonna come out to the next Emperor of the Mats, which is in Kuwait?" And I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, like I'd love to, but I just got to make sure the timeline's up." But I think that'd be an epic trip to go out there and just help out with the tournament, like maybe do a seminar or whatever, But grappling's getting big everywhere, man. Like the guys out there look like beasts. There's dudes over there hitting buggy chokes, all types of stuff. So they're really paying attention to it too. So I even had a kid on there that wanted to do like online private lessons with me and like kind of watch his game and stuff. So I would just watch his videos for free, but it's hard for me to coach him online, if you will. So that's pretty cool. So shout out to those guys. What other shout outs do I got to give? Oh yeah, hat. Check this one out. My hat. People have been asking me about this. My son wears his all the time. Hats _ by Brit. So Mike, you got to get a hat. Actually, she said she's going to make me a couple hats. So
I talked to her. She was one of my favorite people to ever podcast with.
Yeah.
It was like an instant conversation. And I've always wanted to have her back on because whenever you have somebody on like that and it kind of flows, it's fun to talk to somebody like that more. And I was like, why don't you come back in? I was like, we'll just talk more about what you're doing because everything's changed. And I was like, I want to talk hats. I was like, and she's like, I'll talk hats with you. And I was like, cool. So I'm going to set that up. Yeah. She's really cool.
Yeah, I love Brittany. I love my hat, and I wear it all the time. And my son now, he wore, so when my son was born, he had torticollis, which is like your neck is really jacked up because it's just the way he was stuck in the womb for a while. And part of his head was kind of flat. So he had to wear one of those helmets for a while, which was weird at first. I was like, oh man, this looks weird, But he did fine with it. But then after he got the helmet off, I mean, obviously he didn't want to wear anything on his head. He didn't want anything on. He just wanted to be, but now like he sees me wearing it, and he just this morning before we went out, he put it on himself.
That's funny.
Yeah, he loves it. So definitely want to get some more hats, but I want to make sure I give her a shout out. And then I'll give you guys some breaking news real quick, and then I'll just announce some seminars and privates and stuff, and then I'll go over the free game, and then we can pretty much wrap it up. But we're going to have in July, it's going to be the first ever, maybe we could just do stuff at this one, come up with some stuff, but it's going to be the first ever Finishers Summit. So this is going to be a big one, and it's going to be dope. It's going to be not a tournament, though. Maybe we'll run some, who knows? I always say, when it's not a tournament, and then we end up running matches, but it's going to be mostly a training weekend, so probably no tournament. And the guys will be like, dude, that's too much, and it is. But the first ever Finisher Summit will be July 7th through the 9th, so I think it's the weekend right after the 4th of July celebration that everyone always does. And then the Finisher Summit is a weekend of seminars. You're going to have Friday night, 2 guys, Saturday, 2 guys, Sunday, 2 guys, right? Laura's been killing it with the women's, I forget what she called them, the women's summits or whatever. The women's training camp, Nogi women's training camp, and she's been killing it with that, with the instructors and like the girls and like where they're staying and everything. And I think it's time that we do it too. I already have all the instructors confirmed, so there's 2, 4, 6 guys, all super high level, all completely different. So you're going to get a good mix of everything, and we're probably going to start off the registration coming up soon. We're only going to have, I'm thinking around 60 to 80 slots, maybe a little bit more. We'll see how it does. But we're going to start selling the first 30 to 50, or the pre-sale or whatever is going to be. We'll figure out exactly how we're going to do, but the pre-sale is only going to be $200, and that ain't nothing, because I know some of these other summits are charging like $300-$400 for the whole weekend, and we want you to come down, have a good time. We're not trying to rip you off, so it's probably going to maybe start at $250, somewhere around there, and then maybe it'll go a little bit up after that if we end up selling more slots. But I think it's going to sell out pretty good once we start announcing the names. I bet that there will be people that will sign up if I throw out a promo code or something, that people will sign up for not even knowing who's coming, just knowing that we're going to put on a good production. But it's going to be like a whole weekend. Like I said, Friday, little seminar, then training, Saturday, seminar, training, or seminar, then seminar training. And then at night, we'll all go over 7 Sirens, meet up over there, have like a party or whatever. And then Sunday training session, and everybody's out to get home. And so maybe we'll figure something out. But that's going to be going down. So mark your calendars, July 7th through the 9th. I can't announce anybody yet. We'll slowly start doing it, and then we'll have the pre-sale up. So be on the lookout for that. Seminars, I do have 2 seminars that are not confirmed yet, but I will confirm them by the time I do the next one. I don't want to say them yet. But if anyone's looking for private lessons or anything like that, I'm going to be popping that piece up. I only do $100 an hour. So if you want to do 2 people, 50 and 50, just get a partner, find somebody. And, I'm going to have a whole calendar thing set up so you could just book a day, whatever, that I'm there. And then, cause a lot of people are asking me about that too. And then the last thing I want to talk about, and this section's of free game. And, this week's episode of free game, or, corner free game, Zach's corner free game area podcast thing is going to be about Google. Now, Mike, how familiar are you with Google? You do a lot of obviously searching, but what about Google, like finding a place? Do you ever read the reviews or anything like that?
No, I should use way more than Google, especially with the amount of free stuff they offer. I use Gmail, and I should be using Google Calendar.
Yeah,
and
I need to get into Google Calendar. That I should write that down. But if you own a business and it's it's a location or something that some people can go to. And then what I do is, whether it's a restaurant or whatever, I started looking at people's Google places, and a lot of them are just complete trash. It has no reviews, or like one bad review, doesn't have any pictures of the place. It literally has nothing. Your Google presence is 0. And I'm like, oh, now I understand. What's the first thing someone says to you? I want to look up whatever. What do?
Google.
And your Google is trash. Now what? You just, the free shit that's out there, you're not doing. Not you, but the people I'm talking to. You're not doing it, and I wasn't doing it either until I finally realized, wow, that's something that I'm completely neglecting. So I've been giving my Google place or whatever for the school a complete overhaul. I've went through, and this one I should be charging. Actually, I debited your bank account for this information right now, 99 cents from everybody. But you got to go on there and delete all the old pictures. Like, we had pictures up of like our old place. Like, why? No one knows. If some new person looks at that, they don't care what your old place looks like. And if they look at that and then they get confused on where they're going because they randomly saw that picture, that's bad. So I'm updating it with all new pictures, kids class, adult class, kickboxing, so someone could really go through there and look through all the pics of the location. You can put a 360 view of your location on there, so you can have someone come in and you can embed, like however they did that, the video, so that way it takes the, you know how you could do the street view? Well, you could go from the street view and walk into our location and walk around. Now, this isn't good if you were trying to like rob us like on some Mission Impossible shit, the whole layout of the place, but you could pretty much find, like, you could see what it looks like, which I think is huge. If you're going to look at a place and you can see exactly what it looks like, and you find out that the place is this big, cool, awesome location, you'd be like, hell yeah, I want this. I want to go to this place. Especially if it comes up easily, like when someone searches kickboxing, boxing, MMA, jiu-jitsu, BJJ, tiddlywinks, chess, I want to come up for everything. So however that has to work, we still have to figure that out. But at least for those keywords, your website, your Instagram, all that stuff should be working together, but it should all be funneled through Google. Like when someone Googles you and you come up, sure, there's the ad, but then, like I was talking with Ross about this, you always page through the ad because you're like, screw it, I'm not doing the ad. Like, whoever's paying for ads, whatever, that's great. And then there are local dojos around here that do pay for ads, and I think we'll pay for Google ads eventually one day too. But right now we don't need to because we don't even have our shit together on a regular Google yet. But we do come up first for a lot of searches in this area because we're in this area. I don't know how it looks in Allentown or Easton or any of those other ones, but when I search it in Bethlehem, whatever, 10 Planet Bethlehem Finishers MMA comes up, and it should come up, and we have 5-star reviews, like 130 or something, but we want like 1,000. I saw the high level businesses, like when you get the coffee shop and all this stuff open, the super high level businesses, they have thousands of reviews.
Yeah.
Over 1,000 reviews for a cupcake place. There's got to be a way. I'm like, how are they doing it? Because you go buy cupcakes, you don't fucking review it on Google. Who cares? but somehow they're doing it. And a good way to do that is have those QR codes set up. And now when we give the person like their intro bag or whatever, when we give them their stuff, we're going to have that like, hey man, please give us a review. Please scan this and give us a review. It helps out more than you think. And especially if it's not just like you guys are the man. Like some people now that are doing it for us are writing up like a paragraph and then adding a picture or two. That just blows up your Google. Now when people search it, you're going to come up. Like there are schools that don't even come up. There's also 2 schools in this area I'd never even heard of that come up on our list now. So I don't know where they come from, but they must have reviews or something like that. So I don't totally understand the Google game. Maybe you do better than me, but don't neglect that shit. Especially if you have a business, any business that's an actual location, you should be coming up on that piece. You should be coming up on Google when someone wants to search you. Your address is correct. The hours that you're open are generally correct. The phone number, the email. Imagine you have a dead email address up there that's not even the right one. People are emailing fucking nobody. You know, that's a huge thing that we're getting on now, and I'm just gonna have people, you know, for till the end of time. I want 1,000 reviews, you know. So maybe we'll have to do something like you get a free shoehorn or a free noisemaker if we give you if you give us a review or something like that. That's the only thing I could really think of to do because people just generally won't do it unless you like kind of force them a little bit. So, but yeah, that's this week's free game. But that's pretty much all I got. I think I pretty much went over everything. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I just want to thank Mike again, having us down here at the studio. Listen to some of your old. Now, did the Big J one? When did that one come out? Is that a while ago though?
Last
right?
month.
Yeah. So
I didn't have invite to collab. It disappeared. So then I saved some of the promo work I would have done because it's the whole point of what I like having the guests on in the reels is you go through both of your social media.
Yeah. Well, speak about people who never want to promote your stuff. Like you come in here, do the thing, and then they don't do it.
Yeah. A lot of time. Well, I mean, there's all different walks of people that come in. There's people that don't understand what I'm trying to do, and then there's people that do, and the people that do understand, they'll share my stuff with it. But with invite to collab, you know, it hits directly to the audience. So it's like my audience is a lot of people who want to see a lot of different things where, you know, when I have Jay on, if he posts it, it's going to get lost in the algorithm and some people might not see it.
Right.
So when I cut it up, instead of being like, hey, do you want to post this? All they have to do is accept the invite. So when I did that, there was like a lot of love that I got on that post. But then those are people who might not have watched Jay's podcast. So
right,
that came
exactly.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, I saw it again and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about this one. But why? I wonder why Instagram took that away.
I have no clue. I don't know if it's because I was like, I had a business. I researched it. I went into Reddit. There was nothing coming up at all on why it went away. And it was happening to a lot of people. And then I don't know if it was because I was trying to work a business account and then I didn't like the business account because you can't add music. So I went into a creator's account. So I don't know if I had like too much shit going on. And then eventually a lot of it seems like their creator and their business stuff is in beta. Like a lot of the shit don't work.
Not
like, because
right,
I was using Creator and I was like, oh, I can plan posts out and like this is easier and they're just gonna post and I don't got to stop to do it. So I could get up and put an hour into what posts. And generally, I know what I'm posting for the day.
Yeah.
So like, if I cut 4 reels out of this and I set it up for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they weren't posting. And then like there was an error and then I was like, you know what? None of this shit works. And you just want me to spend money. I'm going back to just regular shit. And then when I did that, there was a point I was getting anxiety from the invite to collab because my whole business is built off of piggybacking.
No, yeah.
So it's like
dumb.
you can grow so much faster doing that. And the guests don't care because they don't got to do the fucking work.
Yeah.
They just got a slick video that goes into their shit. So I was just down here 2 nights ago and I went to tag somebody and I saw it in the corner and was like, holy shit.
back.
I'm not even getting that pump because it'll probably go away again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, maybe it has something to do with the music or something. It's so weird.
I don't know. I didn't know if it was something I did. I mean, Instagram and all that shit, it's weird, and they're so big you can't get a hold of anybody. So it's not like if somebody has an issue, like, some people were like, hey, you got to report it. So I did report it like 5 times. So then how long does that take?
Yeah,
but
exactly,
I didn't have that for about 3 months.
They don't understand. Now I heard there's a thing called insurance. Like you can have Instagram insurance. Like if you make money through stuff and they like shut you down or whatever, like you can get some type of insurance for it.
I think they should. I mean, I think a lot's going to change and then new stuff's going to come up because I feel like YouTube is insane with that. What's crazy is YouTube's more annoying than TV.
Yeah, I know.
From when we grew up.
Exactly. It's less commercial.
Yeah.
And stupider commercials. And the same ones.
Yeah. Oh, if you watch the fights, they do like they just show the same fucking ad.
Oh, I can't take it. That's why, and you know my steez, I keep the music, the sound is down, and I'm watching it. Like a lot of times I'm listening to something else on my headphones anyways, and I'm just like, but yeah, the ads, and that's another way they figured out how to make you pay, because you could pay an extra $3 and not have ads or something like that. Or
the only thing I do that on is Spotify, because I genuinely listen to that much music.
Too, We do
Other
that
than that, I'm not paying for YouTube. Get the fuck out of here.
Same thing with Hulu. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, I think everything's going to go to Spotify anyways. I think they're going to end up taking everybody's videos on. I think it's going to bring MTV back and it'll be a generation coming up. Because the way it is with Rogan is you can close the app out or you can watch the videos. So I'm like, you could do that with music and podcasts.
Why doesn't YouTube have that?
YouTube does have that. You got to pay for it, but I don't. The music isn't the same.
Yeah.
Like it's more like playlists that people put up. Like sometimes if I want to get into like some slick shit that Action Bronson don't have on Instagram, he's got some new music out that's real good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where's
it was
that
just
on?
some freestyle shit.
That's what I love.
Yeah, but you could tell it's going in the direction of when he was doing, Bam Bam Baklava shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it on YouTube or?
Yeah. Oh, I saw it on Instagram. Somebody posted it. It's called My BMW Scrapes. It's like a 2-minute freestyle at a radio show.
I gotta
it's
check.
real
Yeah, I'm
fucking
gonna
good.
go check that out.
Yeah,
all right,
it's up there with Bird on a Wire.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. What happened to all those guys? Where's Sci-Hi the Prince? Where are all these dudes? Get out there and start freestyling, please. We need you. Me and Mike need you.
Yeah.
We'll leave it on a high note. Check out that new Action Bronson, Zach's Corner podcast. Never Again Studio. Peace.
Peace.
Never Again Radio. Get into it, brother.